Charlie's horses have been to the winner's circle and captured greatness. Out of the gates, it was a slow trot this season, but the offense has found its stride at times. As we head to the first turn of the 2013 season, the Phillies need to position themselves in the race with a consistent kick for the next stretch ahead. In what has been a gorgeous afternoon here in Philadelphia, the Phillies and the Miami Marlins will get together for Game 3 of their 4-game series tonight at Citizens Bank Park. And the Phillies are playing a little better baseball as of late. Last 24 games at Citizens Bank Park against the Marlins, they're 18-6. Their ERA is 2.89, and you can look at those numbers. And over the last handful of games for the Phillies starters, the ERA is right around that number. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, along with Chris Wheeler. Tonight, Cole Hamels will take the baseball for the Phillies against Jose Fernandez for the Miami Marlins. It's a rematch of a game that we saw back in Miami a couple weeks ago. And for Cole, coming off his first victory of the year.
Yeah, and he had to work really hard to get it, Tom, too. Basically, he was out of that game because they had pinch hit for him, but they went ahead late in the game against the New York Mets on Sunday. He had kind of a strange game. He only gives up 2 hits in this game. They were both in the first inning, and then there were 6 walks. But, of course, he punched out 8 in that game. He had a tremendous changeup. It's amazing the way he can command that thing. One goes away, one goes down and into left-handed hitters. There he got a little break there on a low fastball. But he just had a lot of trouble establishing consistent command in the game, but certainly good enough to keep the Phillies in the ball game where they're able to rally. Now, Tom mentioned these two have matched up before. This is a 20-year-old right-hander with electric stuff, Jose Fernandez. Curveball, good fastball, throws a changeup, and really pitched well. It's the best game that he's had so far in his brief Major League career. He's got a little bit of hot dog in him there, as you see, a little bit of styling. Got himself a base hit and knocked in a run. He was pretty excited about that in the first game that he pitched there in Miami. He's a kid who grew up in Tampa and is a Cuban refugee, a guy that had to get out of Cuba to come over here to play Major League Baseball. This is what these guys have done so far this year. Only one win with the two of them. Two guys with tremendous stuff that you expect by the end of the year, they're going to have a lot more wins than that.
And for Cole Hamels, those numbers aren't really indicative of how well he's pitched over the last few starts. The Phillies just haven't scored a whole lot of runs in support of Cole Hamels. So it is Game 3, and it's a celebration of youth baseball here at Citizens Bank Park. The young Little Leaguers getting a chance to roam around the warning track prior to the start of tonight's ball game. Well, the offense has been clicking for the Phils these last few games. How about Ryan Howard, Dominic Brown? These guys have been able to go a yard. Chase Utley the same. Lineups in first pitch when we return. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Toyota. The Toyota Time Sales event is going on now. Toyota, let's go places. By Citizens Bank, where good banking is good citizenship. Isn't it time you experience good banking? By Coca-Cola, the official soft drink of the Phillies. By Xfinity, the official HD triple play provider of your Phils. And by Independence Blue Cross. We're creating a more coordinated healthcare system that is built around you. Independence Blue Cross, changing the game. Third of a 4-game series. Cole Hamels and the Phillies have taken the field. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Marlins. It's brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Chris Valaika leads it off at second base. Placido Polanco bats second. Justin Ruggiano hits third, followed by Matt Diaz and Marcelo Ozuna. Greg Dobbs bats sixth. Miguel Olivo seventh. And Adeiny Echeverria will bat eighth. And batting ninth and pitching is Jose Fernandez. And they'll face Phillies left-hander Cole Hamels. Hamels won his last game. He's 1-3. An earned run average of 4.78.
And coming off that game in New York where the Phillies had a win while he was being pinch hit for by Lance Nix, and they wound up getting some runs, then adding on and then winning that game on Sunday afternoon. You see the numbers on him. Our scouting report, pretty familiar with Cole Hamels. He's going to use all his pitchers, cutter, changeup, curveball. And against the Marlins, he is 8-10, and in this ballpark, just 4-7, 12 starts. Well, time now for a Nissan keys to tonight's games. Phillies have to just keep plugging away and try and win a game at a time, get back to 500 and see what happens. And continue to play well here in this ballpark that they have in the first 2 games of this series. And when Cole Hamels get back to being Cole Hamels, which means he'll win a lot of games.
Yeah, there's a stat that's been running through the office the last couple of days. You see Freddie Galvis over at third base. That the Phils are 9-3 with Kyle Kendrick, John Lannon, and Jonathan Pettibone on the mound. And they're 5-13 in starts that Cliff Lee, Doc, and Cole Hamels made this year. That's astounding, and you figure it will turn around eventually. And maybe it begins with tonight's game. Chris Valaika leads it off. It's his first start here at Citizens Bank Park, over from the Reds organization. A .250 hitter with no home runs and 8 RBIs, and it's quickly no balls and 2 strikes to him.
These guys are a little short tonight. They scratched Solano about an hour ago from the lineup, and Austin Kern's not here on a bereavement leave, so they basically have a 3-man bench, and one of them being the backup catcher.
Donovan Solano was taking early batting practice in the cage under the stadium and tweaked something in his side, so they decided to let him take a little batting practice on the field to see if he would be okay, and it turns out he wasn't.
The old dreaded oblique, which is one of those new injuries that you hear a lot about.
0-2 the count to Valaika. In the dirt, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Hamels has pitched well lately, even though he's only won 1 game. He's allowed 7 earned runs in his last 4 starts, so an ERA of 2.33 during that time. That's a span of 27 innings. Another foul ball, so it remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Got him. Threw him a changeup, tailed down and away. First strikeout for Hamels, 35 on the year.
Yeah, down and away. The old dead fish changeup from Cole Hamels to a right-handed batter and disappeared. Valaika certainly hasn't faced him a whole lot and struggled with that.
During the 2013 season, Wills Turkey Hill will contribute $100 for each Phillies victory and 5 cents for each carton of Phillies Grand Slam ice cream, sold to support the Phillies youth baseball and softball programs. 0-1 the count to Placido Polanco, who's 2 for 8 so far in the series. His average at .255. And that ball hit him in the back of the foot, or in the back foot, and he'll take his spot over at first.
Well, he throws a curveball there to Placido Polanco. Must have had something they had in mind, had him for a teammate for a long time, and hits him right off the front foot.
Him off the front. The way he reacted with his back foot, I thought it hit his back foot.
Well, I think he thought it was going to hit his back foot, and he was going to get it out of the way, but it got the front puppy first.
A base runner, Justin Ruggiano at the plate. And Ruggiano swings at the first pitch. The Marlins do that more than any other team in the National League. They swing at the first pitch. Revere, his throw to second with Polanco tagging, is not in time.
Good base running by Polanco there, knowing Revere doesn't have the strongest of arms, so he's going to get himself in the scoring position with 2 outs. guys coming together there that play a little baseball together.
Yeah,
there's Ben Revere. He sees he's catching it. Now he has to come forward. And Polanco doesn't run all that well. And Revere doesn't throw real well. So he beats the play.
So surprised he would dive headfirst into the bag with all the back problems he's had. Now Diaz fouls the first pitch back. It's 0-1.
He said the other night he really feels good at his back, considering the way it's been laid for the last year or so. He's really pleased with the way he feels.
Diaz's career numbers against Hamels. He's 11 for 41. He was 0 for 1 in yesterday's game. He was up as a pinch hitter with the bases loaded and went down on strikes. Swing and a miss, a little high heat, and it's 0-2.
It's a guy who's seen Hamels a lot over the years, especially in all those games that Cole pitched against the Braves when he was with them. And he just went up there around his nose with a fastball. Either up there again or they'll go down away with changeup, see if they can get him to chase.
And he hits it the opposite way. Diving stop by Utley, quickly to his feet, inning over. 4-3 on the putout. And Chase Utley just saved a run for Cole Hamels. No runs, no hits. One man left in scoring position. And Chase Utley, who came into this ballgame with 5 errors, but has made a handful of plays just like that. Look how fast he got to his feet. And that closes out the top of the first. The Phil's hitters coming up when we return. Afternoon. Some of those folks who are wandering around the city today probably wandered their way over to Citizens Bank Park for this ball game. Let's take a look at tonight's Phillies lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Rollins, Galvis, and Utley, followed by Ryan Howard, Delman Young, and Dominic Brown. How hot has Dominic Brown been? Oof, his numbers have been outstanding. At the bottom third of Carlos Ruiz hitting 7th, Ben Revere 8th, and Cole Hamels 9th. And they'll face right-hander Jose Fernandez for the second time this season. Fernandez in 5 games, 0-2, an ERA of 4.50.
Electric stuff, only 20 years old. You see 23 strikeouts, 24 innings. He's allowed 2 home run balls so far. Pitched his best game in his inaugural start against the Phillies. He'll average around 95, and he'll go 93 to 98. Real good overhand curveball and changeup. Much better at home than a couple starts that he's had on the road.
First pitch to Rollins is taken outside. It's 1 ball, no strikes. Rollins is 1 for 8 in the series against the Marlins. Overall hitting .243 with a home run and 7 runs batted in. And he pops the next pitch up. Behind the second base bag, Echeverria is there. And 1 away here in the bottom of the first. That'll bring Freddie Galvis to the plate. Galvis getting a start over at third base for Michael Young. Murph, what did Charlie say about that today?
Well, Tom, first and foremost, he said he's been looking for an opportunity to get Freddie Galvis some at-bats, and it's a perfect opportunity tonight, giving Michael Young a little bit of a rest against a very tough right-hander. And he also talked a little bit about Michael Young, and, he's obviously grounded into a lot of double plays this year, 9 of them to lead Major League Baseball, and his, inability to hit for power so far this season. But Charlie said at this point he is not concerned about that at all. He said if you go back and look at Michael Young, he really has hit the ball hard. He's hit the ball into the gaps. Sometimes it's just been a little bit of bad luck. He said hitting the ball up in the air comes in spurts, and he expects Michael Young to get into that mode pretty soon.
Well, and he rolled the dice with Freddie Galvis getting the start. Galvis right out of the chute has a first-inning single. So he's aboard with one away, and they'll bring Chase Utley to the plate. And Murph's right with what Charlie was saying. You think about the extra base hits that Michael Young has had, 58 2 years ago. Dropped last year, no doubt about that. He had 38 extra base hits last year. You would figure that he's going to be in that neighborhood, if not a tad more, because of the ballpark this year.
Yeah, you would hope so. He drives the ball to right and right. It's funny that the Phillies have 2 of these right-handed hitters that are opposite field hitters that don't pull. And they're both named Young.
Must run in the family. Here's Chase Utley with a runner at first. And Utley takes a strike. It's 0-1.
Charlie was also saying about sending Michael Young tonight. He says, I've got Utley, I've got Howard, I've got Rollins, and Michael Young. He says those kind of guys, he said, I need to get them off their feet once in a while. Long trip coming up, travel involved, and they're going to try and do some of that.
Well, he's certainly more conscious of that this year than he has been in past seasons as far as getting bench players in. Most notably Freddie Galvis. I guess all that has to do with age, but also the injuries that Utley and Howard have had over the last couple of years.
Sure, a combination of those two. And the thing that he has in Freddie Galvis is a guy who can play all their positions.
0-2 the count to Utley. Utley 1 for 7 in the series and 0 for 3 the last time he faced Fernandez.
Playing a straightaway defense up the middle in double play depth for Chase Utley.
Outside 1-2. The Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Matt Smith of Middletown, Delaware. Phillies hit a home run at tonight's ball game, and Matt will win $100.
Chase Utley and the Phillies know this guy has the ability to drop that hook on them, as he just tried to right there with 2 strikes. He had a very good curveball in that game in Miami.
Swing and a miss. He got him with a fastball at 95. First strikeout of the night.
It's tough to look for that pitch too, because he has way too much fastball to think you can foul it off and hit his off-speed stuff. This is 95. It may be a strike, it may not be, but there's not a whole lot of time to make up your mind with 2 strikes when he throws like that.
That'll leave the inning to Ryan Howard. Howard, 288 with 5 home runs and 18 runs batted in. He has 4 home runs in his last 9 ball games. Hit a laser last night, went the opposite way the night before. And he waves at the first pitch. It's 0-1.
Here's the one he hit last night, and that was a screamer. A lot of top spin right into the front row.
No report on that guy's hands. Apparently they're still attached to his body.
Well, if he's seen that, he probably realizes how lucky he was that it went through his hands and that it didn't touch him. Unless it did touch it and we didn't see it. But I think he'd have been shaking them if it had touched him. This kid's getting ahead of hitters here in this inning too. It really makes you tough with his stuff. Not using his changeup yet. Fastball, curveball. Does it hit his hand? Oh, it did, right near the little finger. That had to hurt. Guy made a great try, though. You got to give him credit for that.
He wasn't shy for it.
Nope.
No balls, 2 strikes to Ryan Howard.
That's great slow-mo. Never saw that shot before.
Howard lays off. Toyota Major League Scoreboard. The Nationals scored a run late and defeated the Pirates 5-4. Ryan Zimmerman stole third and then came across with the go-ahead run, the winning run.
He had a triple too earlier in the game and scored a run, so he's back, and a veteran player like him can really help.
Swing and a miss. And Fernandez picks up his second strikeout of the night. No runs, one hit. One man left. We've completed one. Marlins nothing, the Phillies nothing. To enhance your game experience on your computer, smartphone, or tablet. Get in-depth stats and join the social buzz. Plus a new interactive feature. Your vote will determine tonight's player of the game. In-game live only at csnphilly.com. Top of the second, Marcell Ozuna leads it off. And he hits the first pitch to deep left field. And that is his first Major League home run.
And not a surprise. We've been talking about him in this series. There's some Ozuna fans, must be his family, that this guy is going to hit some home runs up here. And he jumped right on that first pitch. As Tom said, they swing a lot of first balls and hit it in the first row out there.
So his first Major League home run comes in front of his friends and family. His dad was the one wearing the old school Marlins jacket. We saw him last night. He's the one to the left with his back to us.
Got to be pretty exciting. The kid's got tools. So he can really play the outfield too. He's shown that in this series.
So 1-0 Marlins on top. Here's Greg Dobbs, and Dobbs takes a strike. It's 0-1. Dobbs, a .247 hitter with a home run and 7 runs batted in. He was not in the original starting lineup when Solano came down with the injury. They shuffled Valaika over to second base, and Dobbs went back in to play first. Not a bad spot. Must have been a little outside and low. 2-1 to count. Ozuna still hasn't taken his helmet. Oh no, he took his helmet off. I'm sorry. I was going to say he's still wandering around the bat rack. I walked in with him yesterday. He's a pretty big kid too.
Oh, he's a Mondesi looking player. Maybe a little taller, but real strong lower body. You don't know. This game is so hard to play, and the league figures things out. But he has tremendous natural ability.
Dobbs the other way, and Galvis to his knee. Tonight's game is also available in Spanish. Just use the SAP button on your television or change the language through the menu on your cable box. We said it's been a gorgeous day, as everybody knows, and it's turned into a very nice night. A little cool again. Temperature at 65 degrees at the start of tonight's ball game.
It's like San Francisco weather.
Yeah, we should have the same temperatures for the 3-game series in San Fran. Miguel Olivo, the batter. Olivo behind in the count, no balls and 1 strike.
Talking about a first pitch swinger, so they went off speed on him because they figured he was going to be hacking.
Yeah, Mike Redmond was saying yesterday that Rob Brantley is still kind of a work in progress with his game calling and things like that, and it's noticeable. He does have talent. With a 20-year-old right-hander on the mound, Olivo gets the opportunity to catch him, and Olivo is probably a little bit more of a manager of the game as a catcher. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Understanding of what pitches.
Experienced. Much more experienced.
1-2 pitch. He went upstairs. It's 2-2.
Really swings aggressively, dives a lot. Go away from with a changeup now after you go up and in on him like that. He swings. Same swing every time. There's no back off in his swing with 2 strikes.
Try to keep your hand close, man.
Inside, 3-2. Echeverria on deck. Out toward left field, Dominic Brown, a few steps from the track. That one was toward the end of the bat. Pretty good pitch from Hamels, a little off-speed pitch, and they're 2 away. Tuesday, May 14th, the Phillies are going to play the Cleveland Indians in the start of a 2-game series. Now, Game 2 is the Citizens Bank Business Person Special, a Model Sporting Goods senior stroll the bases. The night before, all fans will receive that great cap. It's Teva Respiratory Asthma Awareness Night. Get your tickets at Phillies.com. Echeverria will be the hitter with 2 outs. He takes outside, 1-0. Echeverria 1 for 7 in the series. And it's 2-0.
Boy, he has a good fastball tonight. You can just see it coming out of his hand. A lot of life on his fastball. Throws it by him 2-0. He likes his fastball early in this game too. He's throwing it a lot.
And it's low, 3-2.
Now Cole Hamels, if you're the 8-hole hitter right now, it's always a tough spot because they try to fool you with a pitcher. Don't worry, Ben. They want to get you out with junk sometimes, and he may throw him a 3-2 changeup.
He did. And a swing and a miss. His changeup's been good tonight too. It's the second time he's gotten a hitter with that 3-2 pitch on the outer edge. So the home run by Ozuna gives the Marlins a 1-0 lead as we move to the bottom of the second. Palmer. It's on PHL 17, and you can watch the stream simulcast on Phillies.com. Now, there's a special preview show of the Phillies Charities Fantastic Auction. It's an 11-day online auction featuring 47 unique experiences and collectible items. You don't want to miss it. It benefits Phillies Charities Incorporated. Again, it's tomorrow with Behind the Pinstripes with Scott Palmer. Home half of the second. Phil's down 1-0. And it'll be Delmon Young, Dominic Brown, Carlos Ruiz. Better up against 20-year-old right-hander Jose Fernandez, who last year was 14-1 in the minor leagues. First pitch outside, 1-0. Delmon so far is 3 for 12. He's 1 for 6 in this series against the Marlins. Still getting himself acclimated. He's fit in well in the clubhouse. That part he's comfortable with. He's getting acclimated to major league pitching again. Takes a breaking ball for a strike, 1-2. That one off the end of the bat, shallow left center field, and Ruggiano saw it the whole way. And Dominic Brown is coming up. Earlier today, the Mets and Braves game was postponed because of rain. Now, it was a night game, but they canceled it really early. There's been a lot of rain going through the southeast. And that game is not, a makeup date has not been scheduled yet. The Mets have a lot of makeup games already that they'll have on their schedule. They will play an afternoon game tomorrow in Atlanta.
Yeah, they're going to go back there 2 more times, as opposed to those other games Tom's talking about when they were on that trip to Minnesota and out to Denver, where they only go there once, and now they're going to have to go back.
Yeah, they're going to have to stop off in Minnesota.
Phillies did that a few years ago on the way home from Los Angeles, went to Denver and played.
0-1 the count to Brown. Breaking ball, 0-2.
Had like a 15-14 game or something. It was a Coors Field game.
Chopper foul up toward Juan Samuel.
This guy's going to be tough if he keeps getting his curveball over the way that he is tonight. You know, he's one of those pitchers that is a hitter. You just want to take his curveball, hope he misses, and then try to get some fastballs to hit. But he has pretty good command of it early.
Last time out, he was cruising through the first 3 innings in that game against the Mets. He wound up pitching just 4 innings. And if you looked at his line, you see 4 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 3 walks, and you're wondering, well, how is he taken out of the ball game? Well, he threw 81 pitches as Dobbs has that one go off his glove, picked up by Valaika, and Fernandez is there to cover. That was a good play all the way around. It'll go down as a 3-4-1 putout. Bowles hit hard.
Yeah, that looked like a base hit in the hole off a curveball too. But everybody did their job, especially the pitcher on this, because pitcher will freeze on this a lot of times. Valaika does his thing. Now he looks up and there he is, right there in the vicinity of the bag, and he can throw a bullet to him. That was really well executed by the Marlins. Here it is again. There's that curveball, and Dominic hit it well, but see, he broke immediately, and then he was just sizing up on when he should get there to time it right. He's totally under control.
Well, 2 outs. Carlos Ruiz the batter, and Carlos hits the first pitch right above our heads. It's not often that the upper deck behind home plate gets a foul ball. Well, there you go. Curveball, and it's 0-2. Well, his last time out, he was cruising through 3. We said he threw 81 pitches, 45 strikes. And that's part of the story, the fact that he had 36 balls. And it wasn't until the 4th inning that he started getting hit around a little bit. And they are still going to be very cautious with him. Even though he's pitching in the big leagues, they're not going to let him go too deep in games, particularly if he starts to scuffle. Well, he's not scuffling here tonight. He has a 1-0 lead. It's making his hop seem a little a little more hop in his step as he goes off to the dugout. Go to the fan section for all the information, and please submit your answer on the subject line. Wheels, here's the question. Who holds the Marlins single season record with 184 singles? The answer will be revealed in the 7th inning. Look at that shot. That's a beauty right there.
That's pretty. Where was that taken from?
We hired the blimp.
Well, we don't have a blimp. That's what I was trying to figure out. Where did that come from? That was really one of the bridges.
Fernandez the batter, and he chops one out towards shortstop. And Rollins throws him out. One away. And we go back to the top of the order for Valaika. He's 0 for 1. He struck out his first time up. Outside, 1 ball and no strikes. That ball is well hit toward left center field. Brown into the alleyway, and it is gone. That sounded like a home run off the bat. Second solo home run of the night against Hamels, and it's 2-0. Marlins on top.
2 guys hitting their first home runs tonight. That baby was hammered. Really back legs this one, does Chris Valaika. Gets it up in the air and gone. Looks like a cutter, and it came right into the middle of the plate.
First home run of the year for Valaika, as Wheels said. Second major league home run for him. So 2 hits for the Marlins. Both are solo home runs.
That thing had a chance to be out of their ballpark. Well, maybe not.
And Polanco lines one to center field, and Revere misread it off the bat, and he has to knock it down on 1 hop. It'll be a base hit for Polanco, his first hit of the night. He's been on base twice, and then I'll bring Ruggiano to the plate.
Yeah, you could tell that he didn't break immediately on that. He really didn't size that one up, and then came on at the last second and thankfully put his hand up and knocked it down. See, right here he freezes on it because he's just not sure. He doesn't read it. Right there he froze. Now he starts to pick up. All right, I got to come in, and well, when you dive like that, that's dangerous. It takes a long time for somebody to come back you up when you're the center fielder and you dive and it gets by you.
Ruggiano flied out to Revere his first time up. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. That pitch in the dirt. Phillies have pulled to within 2 games of 500 with the 2 victories in this series, and even the sweep last week against the Mets. So 5-2 in their last 7. And their starters over the last 12 games at this ballpark, an ERA of 2.97. We said during the outset of the series they needed to reclaim home field advantage, and they're back above the 500 mark here at home. Ground ball off the foot of Ruggiano, so a foul ball, and it's 2-2. Got him with a changeup. And Ruggiano is the 3rd strikeout victim of the night for Hamels.
And good changeup here. You see how he really fools him. Goes down and away, way out in front.
Now Diaz, he grounded out his first time up on a great play by Chase Utley at second. Saved a run. Joe's bunt takes a strike. It's 0-1. Can't imagine the number 4 hitter bunting with 2 outs in the top of the 3rd.
You know what? Do you think Polanco's going to run and he's going to shield the catcher? And he got a first ball fastball.
There goes Polanco. Pitch is taken for a strike. Throw to second. Not in time.
I guess he gave Polanco an idea. Maybe I'll run.
First stolen base of the year for Polly.
And that's just reading a pitcher that you know very, very well in Cole Hamels. Straight steal. Not a guy you expect to steal a base. Doesn't run all that well, but stole that on the pitcher.
I have to say, he's been moving around well in the 6 games now that we've seen him play.
He's moving around a lot better, but he doesn't run well.
No. First stolen base since the 2011 season. There's a fly ball out to center. Ben Revere settles under it, and the side is retired. However, the Marlins have added another run on another home run. Solo shot by Chris Valleca. We've played 2.5 here in Philly. It's the Marlins 2 and the Phillies nothing. Ford stores. Go further. Buy Xfinity, the official HD triple play provider of your Phillies. And buy Toyota. The Toyota Time Sales event is going on now. Toyota, let's go places. On the eve of the Broad Street Run, you think if you allowed those 5 right there to go out and start the Broad Street Run, how fast do you think they would finish it? I mean, if you just gave them a little direction, maybe a mini run.
Well, what they say is a good time, around an hour. I mean, for a normal person,
boy,
not a
question.
championship runner.
That's a good question. Have you eaten your carbohydrates today to prepare for your run tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm going to run my luggage to the car tomorrow morning.
Oh, and 1 the count to Ben Revere. And it's 0-2. Revere 208 with no home runs, 5 runs batted in. And a strike on the outside corner. 1-2. Over to the left side, Polanco fields it on the grass and just throws him out. And 1 away here in the 3rd. And Hamels is coming to the plate. Hamels 1 for 11 so far this year. Well below his average, his career average. His 23 career RBIs, 193 strikeouts. He'll generally make contact, though. And he does make contact here. Shallow left center field. And Ruggiano will make the catch. And quickly there are 2 outs. Wheels after doing a little research. The truck tells us that the winner of the Broad Street Run last year finished it in 36 minutes and 58 seconds. That's a pretty good pace.
Yeah, you could drive. Well, you could. I was going to say a lot of people couldn't drive it that fast. You know, and you figure in rush hour coming down Broad Street.
Yeah, because of Broad Street, because of rush hour.
All the traffic and all that.
The fastest female participant ran it in a little more than 43 minutes.
So if an average human being ran it in around an hour, that would be pretty good.
I would think that would be very good.
Yeah, I mean, you're a trained runner that you just didn't happen to wake up that morning and say, I think I'll go run
a Broad Street Run.
Yeah, go have a McMuffin and head down on Broad Street and run down the Navy Yard.
Inside, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Starts up there, I think, around Temple, right?
All right, Murph, I understand you ran the Broad Street Run. Did you win it? Did you win it?
I did not win it. Okay. In fact, I actually finished right behind a juggler in a tuxedo, and that's a true story. Running's not my strong suit. I think it took me about an hour and 40 minutes, I think. Yeah.
See, I would think Murph is a normal human being. I wish we had more time, Murph. Maybe tomorrow we could recap that a little bit more.
I'd be happy.
Sorry, Murph, we can't put you in that normal human being.
Rollins down on strikes. We've played 3. The Fanatic has found somebody celebrating a birthday. K-Cups delivered in all the flavors you love. By who? But W.B. Mason. Top of the 4th. That was a quick 3 innings, Sarge.
Yeah, it sure was.
Phillies trail at 2-0. 2 solo home runs for the Marlins. One by the guy that's leading it off, Marcell Ozuna. Ozuna had 5 home runs down in Double-A in Jacksonville. And he hit his first major league home run. Thought about it, back in your day, it would have been difficult to get the ball for your first major league home run.
Oh, no doubt.
Well, around Major League Baseball, when the opposition hits a home run, most places now they throw it back on the field. And that's what happened here.
Hopefully it's the same ball, though, huh? Sometimes they switch the ball, that's what they do in Wrigley Field, and throw another ball out.
Uh-oh, that's it. Well, it's going to be a foul ball. But, man, he got the bat around on that one.
Yeah,
it's 1-2.
He's got a short, compact swing. Those kind of swings, at times, has to get into trouble. Take this out in the second inning. He has an open stance, but he does go into the ball.
There's the 1-2 pitch to him. Checked his swing and a curveball. It's 2-2. Ozuna is now 4 for 9 in this series.
Notice how quiet he is in terms of striding to the ball. The slower your feet, the quicker your hands will be. Although a veteran pitcher like Cole should take care of him.
Fly ball, shallow left center field. Rollins is out there. And one away here in the 4th. Going to bring Greg Dobbs to the plate. Dobbs grounded out his first time up. Dobbs was not in the original starting lineup. Donovan Solano went down with an injury, so they had to change the lineup a little bit. All right, what do you think of Cole Hamels so far?
Well, again, for me, with Cole Hamels keeping you in the ball game, he's given up 2 runs so far. I think for me, especially the guys that are able to hit the fastball, you want to go a little bit more off speed on those guys. Keep them off balance. Most of those young kids that come in, they can hit a fastball. So keep it out of the middle of the plate, and off speed pitches will do you well.
Well, that was a pretty good pitch right there to Dobbs, and he gets him to ground out, roll over on it, over to second base, 2 away.
Take a look at this. Is a changeup. He will throw it to left-handers as well. But more importantly, though, that's in a good spot, down and away, and again, off balance is what you want to do, and that's exactly what happened.
Well, Wheels was mentioned the same thing about the fastball. You know, maybe if you're going to throw it out of the strike zone on that first pitch.
Well, yeah, unless it's, again, low and away. It just depends on the hitter, inside, mainly not throwing it out over the plate is what you want to stay away from.
Here's Miguel Olivo. He takes a curveball low. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Olivo flied to left his first time up. He has 9 career home runs against the Phillies. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
1-1 the count. Olivo making the start tonight for Rob Brantley. Brantley started the first 2 games for the Marlins.
Well, they're in a rebuilding situation, so a lot of guys will get a chance to play as a bullet goes right up the middle.
A 2-out single. And now Hamels will face Echeverria, who struck out his only time up.
Now, those balls that you throw away, those are the ones that come up the middle. If usually you have good technique.
Echeverria was activated from the disabled list as the series got underway. He had a contusion to his right elbow, which put him on the DL. Like Fernandez, he is from Cuba. And Mike Redmond knows that he has some young guys that he has to deal with. Kind of watching them learn the game on the fly.
Yeah, it almost seems every 3 or 4 years or so, the Marlins will go through that where they get rid of everybody and then end up rebuilding again. But they always seem to do that with good young players.
A little low, 1 ball and 1 strike. Joey Espada laying down the signs. Well, this rebuilding that they've done this year has received an awful lot of criticism, from a number of folks. because they went out and spent so much money to open up the new stadium.
Yeah.
Even on their manager, Ozzie Guillen. And it just didn't work out. So they had a fire sale during the offseason. They got some really good prospects in return. But they've changed the focus of the franchise. And last year they had hoped to contend for the National League East title. And some circles even thought they could contend for a world championship. But it didn't work. They lost a lot of money, so they decided to scrap everything and start over again. Much to the chagrin of the folks in Miami-Dade County who helped foot the bill for a brand new, beautiful ballpark. Jeffrey Loria, who you see right there with the glasses on, he is the owner of the Miami Marlins. And he's in town to watch tonight's ball game. 2-2 pitch. Ground ball left side. Galvis charging. And floats the throw over in time, and the inning is over. No runs, one hit, one man left for the Marlins. We've played 3.5. Freddie Galvis will lead it off for the Phillies when we return for the bottom of the fourth. Visit your local dealer at ChevyDealer.com. By Citizens Bank, where good banking is good citizenship. Is it a time you experience good banking? And by McDonald's, I'm loving it. 2-0, bottom of the fourth. Freddie Galvis will lead it off. It'll be Galvis, Utley, Ryan Howard, 2, 3, and 4 for the Phillies. They've kind of found their offense the last couple of days, although the first 3 innings tonight, they haven't had the same kind of success against Fernandez. But he's not going to be around for long unless he continues with the pace that he's on, averaging 11 pitches per inning. Then he might stick around a little longer than you would think. Yeah, well, going deep into counts, he does have a good arm, has good stuff, but the one thing he'll have to do is to control that pitch count by throwing more strikes. He's fallen behind 2-0. He hasn't done that often. See, that's 2 breaking balls in a row, and he has a good fastball. Drawn as high as 96 here so far tonight. That good fastball, you can get ahead. Now you can mix in your breaking pitches. Should be taking 2 pitches just to get on, especially when you're behind. First 3-ball count of the night for Fernandez. Galvis singled his first time up, taking all the way, and it's 3-1. Galvis making his 9th start of the year. And the 3-1 pitch. And he lines that one on one hot. What a play by Blake. Well, he's made 2 very good plays tonight. And there's one away. Well, that's taking a hit away from Galvis. That ball smoked. Top spin on it. Take a look at it. Gets the bat head out right in front. Line drive is a bit of a 360. Good hands, as he's showing there.
make that play there, you know you have plenty of time because the ball is hit so hard.
Chase takes outside. Utley struck out his first time up. Utley and Howard both struck out. I mentioned last night that Utley and Howard homered in the same game for the 49th time in their big league career, and it's the highest total for any active teammates in Major League Baseball. There's Dobbs. Oh man, what a tough play! And Fernandez tagged the base with his glove. 2 outs.
Tell you what, not going to find a better play. Smiles on Fernandez, showing some athleticism. Take a look at this throw as he gets it and then pats it there with the glove. That's just a hard play that just makes it look easy. And he does get there. Might want to try and get your hand off the bag a little quicker, but look how he does that. Dumping his own self out.
He's fortunate he didn't hurt himself with that last stride.
Or have Utley step on that hand a bit.
Howard's up with 2 away. Howard takes a strike at the knees. It's 0-1. The next closest teammates in Major League Baseball to homer in the same game is 30. I mean, it's 19 is the difference, 49 and 30.
Yeah, okay.
Derek Jeter and Alex Rodriguez. We're taking a look at our Mazda leaders. I mentioned last night how Utley has pulled into 8th place all time in Phillies history in homers, and Ryan Howard is second to Schmitty. Next up for Utley is Cy Williams and then Greg Luzinski. 1 ball, 1 strike to count.
It'll start to get warmer and the summer will get here and the ball will start to fly out even more. You can tell though Fernandez really bears down against Ryan Howard. Room a fastball, 96, low strike, borderline. Could have gone either way for the first pitch.
Another high fastball, and Howard's down swinging. A 1-2-3 4th inning. 44 pitches through 4 innings for Fernandez, and the 20-year-old has the Phils number at least through the first 4 of tonight's game. fifth inning. It's a 2-0 Marlins lead. Jose Fernandez leads it off. Reddick takes a strike. It's 0-1. Fernandez grounded out to shortstop his first time up. And he loops that one down the left field line. Galvis on the run, and he can't get to it. Great effort by Freddie Galvis.
Sure was. Got to tell you that when you're building your team around talent like Fernandez, as you take a look at Galvis, has a bead on it, tries to slide to get it, just kind of almost tails away from him, if you will. But when you're building your club around this kind of young talent, you don't take a long time. That's why, you know, a couple of years, Marlins won't compete, and then all of a sudden they're right there, being able to compete against good clubs because of the good young talent that they have.
I think what the Marlins fans are worried about, though, Sarge, is that it's going to take a couple of years, and will they hang on to those players?
No, because they keep doing the same thing year in and year out.
It remains 1-2 as Fernandez fouls it away.
But in saying all that, still got a couple of world championships over there at that city.
It's true. Again, as we said, whether you agree with the trading or not, and it is a shame that they did it, they did get a lot of prospects, but they're prospects back in return.
Yeah, well, you know, I don't agree with that, but they've done a good job over the years in getting some good talent back for guys they trade.
Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 4. And with one away, we go back to the top of the order for Valaika. And it's time to bring back Murph, fresh off his Broad Street run for the Major League Notebook.
Well, not fresh off, or I wouldn't be able to talk, trust me. Or walk, for that matter. The Major League Notebook is brought to you by Gwynedd Mercy College, guys. Chicago White Sox starter and former Phil Gavin Floyd has a tear in his flexor muscle near the elbow, and it's causing some ligament trouble. The result will probably be Tommy John surgery. Either way, Floyd is going to miss a lot of time. He started this season 0-4 with an ERA well over 5. And the Dodgers, guys, man, they are just snake bit. They are losing another superstar from that lineup. Hanley Ramirez apparently with what they believe is a torn hamstring. They're going to get an MRI on that. But either way, they are saying, Don Mattingly saying they don't expect Hanley Ramirez back anytime soon. Just another big star on that LA Dodgers roster that is down for the count, guys.
Well, I watched that play last night, and you remember when Alfonso Soriano tore his quad several years ago with the Cubs, going from first to third? That's what that looked like, and I think it's changed Soriano's career.
Wow.
I mean, it looked that painful.
You know what? It has changed Soriano because he hasn't been able to run and steal bases at all like he did before. I mean, here's a guy that stole 40 bases before in the major leagues.
1-2 strikes the count to Valaika, who homered his last time up. He fouls it away. Murph, while you were doing your report, I don't know if you know this, but there was a few flash bulbs going off. Were the folks taking your photo?
Well, I think
there's another one.
And I finished the Broad Street
There's another one.
And they're very impressed by that. If you could have only seen it, it was not good.
You with the juggler?
Yeah, well, he was pretty impressive, I have to admit.
1-2 the count. Curveball inside, 2-2. Any chance, Murph, you can run tomorrow if we just throw you in there?
Sure. I don't know if I can go more than 200 feet, but I'll run.
Just do it so you can get one of those T-shirts or something.
I think I'll buy one.
Well, I got to tell you, though, that Tommy John operation, it's been huge for a lot of pitchers. Actually, Murph really saving a lot of different pitchers' careers, to be quite frank.
It is a shame, though, for Gavin Floyd, who's had a decent run with the White Sox, that something like that would happen. It's going to cost him, the rest of this year and part of next year. Same with Jason Mott for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah, the only good thing, though, at least they know that there's been players that have come back and had really good careers after that operation. So there is hope for all the guys that are having that particular procedure.
3-2 the count to Valaika. Hamels wanted that last pitch on the inner half. He has 4 3-ball, 2-strike counts so far tonight. Got him. A high fastball. 5 strikeouts for Hamels. And there are 2 outs.
Well, one in low, and then this one out of the zone, up high. Changing your eye level, which pitchers will do from time to time.
Polanco, who singled his last time up, was hit by a pitch his first time, takes a strike.
Polanco still in really good shape.
I think he's in better shape now than he was in the last 2 years with the Phillies. I think part of that was because of the injuries that he sustained, but he's definitely in his midsection physically stronger. He said that. He said his biggest problem right now is he's fighting allergies.
Yeah.
It's bothering his eyes. Inside, 2-1.
Still the toughest batter to strike out in the league. And that means he makes a lot of contact. Only hitting .262. Not a guy that will hit for a lot of power.
Ground ball to third. Galvis. Ooh, what a sweeping play by Freddie Galvis. And the side is retired. So quick, either to his left or his right. Freddie Galvis helps produce a 1-2-3 fifth inning for Cole Hamels. Not only that, but then to pop up and make a clean throw. It's composed and settled it down. Phillies wrap up their series with the Miami Marlins tomorrow afternoon. 2:35 is the first pitch, and all women coming to the ball game tomorrow, age 15 and over, receive the free Chase Utley tote bag. It's StubHub Mother's Appreciation Day here at the ballpark. Get your tickets now by going to Phillies.com. Delman Young takes a strike, and it's 0-1. Young is 0 for 1. In fact, Fernandez has retired 11 consecutive Phillies. He's only allowed 1 hit. He's faced 1 over the minimum. And it's 0-2. And he is throwing some keys right now.
No question about it. And again, after that little slider that he just threw that backs you up, then he comes with some heat up and away.
Another strikeout as he goes 96 upstairs.
See, that's what I'm saying, where he's going to learn that he has really pretty good stuff. So he doesn't have to nibble early in the count like a lot of other pitchers. That fastball, as it's rising, that's a tough pitch to hit in that situation there. Hard to get on top of.
Brown asks for time. Want to know the count?
He just strikes out Young there and had good stuff, but now all of a sudden now he falls behind and gets in a fastball count for Dominic Brown.
Instead, he goes with something soft for a third straight pitch. There are 2 outs. On Monday, get ready for the Phils series against the defending world champion Giants with a supersized edition of Phillies Pregame Live. Join Ricky Metallico for a preview of Cliff Lee's matchup against Madison Bumgarner before the Phils-Giants game Monday night at 9:15 right here on Comcast Sports. We live Phillies. There's Cliff. It's been a little bit of a topic the last couple of days. Dirk Hayhurst, who used to pitch in the major leagues, now does some stuff up in Toronto, has become an author and among other things talked about pitchers who are doctoring the ball. There's been a lot going on with Clay Buchholz and the Red Sox, and he brought up Cliff Lee's name. You know, he said a guy like Cliff Lee. Cliff was asked about that, and he said, "I'll show you my hat. It's the same hat I've worn for the last 3 years. It's rosin, it's sweat, and there's just nothing else to it." Cliff handled it extremely well. And he'll start on Monday for the Phillies. Right now, the Phils are locked in a dogfight. It's 2-0 Marlins as we go to the 6th. Put together one heck of a stretch. Kyle Kendrick has flown under the radar for some time with big names alongside him in the rotation, and he continues to do so while clicking off wins for the Phils. The 7th-year pitcher has won 10 of his last 15 starts going back to last August, and he is unbeaten in his last 5 outings. KK leads the rotation with a low 2.43 ERA. He is consistently leading his team to success. And it's brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Changing the game. Top of the 6th, 2-0 Marlins. 2 solo home runs for the Marlins, Ozuna and Valleca. And Cole Hamels is ready to begin the 6th, facing Justin Ruggiano, who's 0 for 2. He's fly to center. He's struck out. So we got a miss and a changeup, 0-1. I don't know. His fastball's been good tonight. His changeup's been good tonight. It's just that his team hasn't given him any support.
Well, it's been that way for a while now.
I mean, I know that he's given up 2 solo home runs, but get the man some runs.
The solo home runs, I mean, that's manageable. A team like the Fighting Phils should be able to come back with only 2 runs.
1-1 pitch, low, 2-1.
Although Fernandez, who's pitching against them, you can tell that he's not afraid, coming out, throwing a variety of different pitches. Just a filthy changeup. makes that changeup almost act as if it's a screwball and go away from the right-handed batter. There it is again.
6 strikeouts for Hamels. He now has 40 on the year.
Well, there's that changeup I'm talking about as it fades away from him.
Sarge, for years, StubHub has been the place to find great Phillies tickets. And this season, you can get more with your tickets thanks to StubHub Fan Rewards. So get to StubHub and grab your seats today. Diaz takes a strike. It's 0-1. Diaz is 0 for 2. First pitch strikes. The 22 batters he's faced. Broke his bat toward the middle. Rollins behind the bag. 2 outs. 2 away, and Marcell Ozuna, the batter, he's accounted for 1 of the 2 runs. That may not seem like that difficult to play because Rollins probably makes it better than most, but he was under control. There was a good flow to the way he moved from one spot to another.
The key word being under control on any other positions, whether or not you dive and catch a ball to be able to get up and throw it in an area.
Sarge, you timing this inning at all?
They're quick.
Sure are. 1, 2, 3 go the Marlins. It is a good old-fashioned pitcher's duel. Jose Fernandez has retired 14 in a row, and Hamels has done almost as good a job. To Dodge.com or your local dealer today. By Thomas Jefferson University Hospitals. Call 1-800-JEFF now for an appointment. And by Mazda. We believe if it's not worth driving, it's not worth building. Home half of the 6th inning. Only 1 hit for the Phillies. It was a single by Freddie Galvis back in the 1st. Since that time, Jose Fernandez has retired 14 in a row. Meanwhile, Hamels, he's retired 7 in a row, and he's allowed only 4 hits, 2 solo home runs. That last half inning took 3 minutes and 1 second.
I knew those innings were awful quick. Well, Fighting Phils need a base runner. It would be nice if Ben can start it off, hit or walk. Either one will do.
He bunts toward first. Dobbs picks it up and applies the tag. It just could have slipped past him. 3 unassisted, 1 out, 15 in a row retired.
Not a bad bunt, however, just a little bit too hard. Trying to get on it any way he can.
Hamels takes a strike on a breaking pitch.
Hey, makes it look easy for a kid that's only 20 years old.
The thing about it is that he hasn't made it look this easy in his other outings, aside from the outings against the Phillies. The last time out and this one.
No doubt about it. Seen him pitch against other teams, not able to even locate his fastball.
Gil Oliva went a long way to try to help out Placido Polanco on that foul pop. It's 1-2 to Hamels. Pitch is out and pops it foul. Fernandez just 20, dueling Cole Hamels twice this year. Hamels fouls it back. He took a pretty good rip at that one.
96, he sure did. This is after 2 off-speed pitches that he fouled off. That was pretty good to keep himself alive.
It's the longest at bat of the night. He threw 8 pitches last inning to bring his total up to 52. He's thrown 8 here in this inning. Outside, 2-2.
Well, that's what you got to have. I mean, good at bats from top to bottom, wearing the pitcher out.
Breaking ball and a called strike 3. 6 strikeouts for Fernandez. So a little bit of a battle, but Fernandez wins it.
Little backdoor slider.
Two outs. Jimmy Rollins up. Rollins is 0 for 2. Breaks his bat. Fly ball to right. Caught into the air by Ozuna. 1-2-3 go the Phils. 17 in a row, Sarge. We'll see you tomorrow.
Sounds good.
And your local Honda dealers game summary. Not a whole lot to summarize. Couple home runs by Miami tonight. Marcell Ozuna and Chris Valaika. Jose Fernandez, he's been tremendous. He's going to give up one hit, couple really good defensive plays. Phillies, well, they've hit a couple balls hard where they made good plays. And other than that, this kid just dominated them tonight.
Yeah, he's retired 17 consecutive batters. Cole Hamels goes to work here in the top of the 7th. Greg Dobbs takes low. It's 1-0.
And Dobbs Hamels in another one of those really close games without runs being scored. He has to just keep it right where it is.
Yeah, he's retired 11 of the last 12 batters.
We talk about, you might be able to get Fernandez out of there early with his pitch count. Well, pitch count's not very high. He's not going anywhere.
Well, he's averaged about 11 pitches per inning.
Yeah, and they're quality too. Cole has good stuff here tonight. Got hurt with a couple home run balls.
Here's the 1-1 pitch to Dobbs. Fly ball, shallow center. And one away here in the top of the 7th. These lucky fans are tonight's Citizens 7. They will receive a prize pack courtesy of Citizens Bank. Citizens Bank with the most 7-day branches in the Philadelphia area. To find a branch near you, visit citizensbank.com.
He doesn't need any hydration. Barely broke a sweat tonight.
Seriously.
Well, he looks 20 years old.
Olivo takes a ball low, 1-0.
Kid's got an amazing story of all the attempts he made to defect. He was in jail when he's 15 years old and a failed defection. And
he was shot at,
and jumped in the water to save somebody. It turned out to be his mom.
Yeah.
And then went to Tampa, went to high school there. His English is perfect. Studied a lot of English since he's been here. He's a great story, and what an arm. Oof.
1 ball, 1 strike to count to Olivo. Inside 2-1. Feels this game has gone on so quickly. We wanted to wish a very happy and healthy 106th birthday. Oh, Hamels, what a catch on that line drive. Wow.
That's 2 of them that Olivo's hit back at him. He's just trying to get out of the way of that, and that thing caught him.
Well, Rich Duby and Scott Sheridan are going to run out to the mound and check him out.
Well, they got to let his heart rate get back down.
He's waving them back. Yeah,
he's waving them back, but that was... He's saying, I got it. Here it is. Watch this. Hyundai defensive play of the game, and this ball literally catches Cole Hamels. Oh, bounced up, came back into his glove. My goodness, here it is again. Watch it pop up. And now let's get my heart rate down.
Seriously.
Oh, that's a pitcher maker right there. Back through the middle. He's going to have to start pitching that guy inside.
Brought to you by our local Hyundai dealers.
Yeah, that was our Hyundai defensive play of the game.
Here's Echeverria. Well, we were saying that we're wishing a happy 106th birthday to Asae Yamamoto. Tremendous story. And she is celebrating birthday number 106.
Wow.
And Asae's been watching the Phillies for a long time. And Asae, I don't know if you've ever seen anything like that. That ball that went right back to the box, and Cole Hamels making that kind of play. So happy birthday from all of us here at the Phillies. 1-2 the count to Echeverria, who's 0 for 2.
106. That's when you start thinking about getting a pitcher out of a game. That's his pitch count.
Well, I went back to Baseball Reference. There have been 48 players in baseball history who were born on the 4th of May. The youngest of whom was Nick Noonan, who's played in 17 games this year, who was born in 1989. So he's a young fella. But tomorrow's starting pitcher, Kevin Slowey, celebrating a birthday today for the Miami Marlins. Nick Noonan plays for the San Francisco Giants. Ground ball toward third. Charging play, Freddie Galvis, and he throws on the run, and he threw a strike. And the side is retired. 10 in a row retired by Hamels. Time to stretch, hoping for some offense when we get back. Time now for the Dodge Stuff the Fans trivia quiz answer. All right, Wills, the answer is not Cole Hamels, even though we're trying to throw you off by showing him. Who holds the Marlins single-season record with 184 singles?
Got to be Juan Pierre.
It has to be Juan Pierre, doesn't it? He had 184 and 221 hits overall.
See all the other pitchers talking to Hamels just then? It's like, boy, we're glad that wasn't us. Oh, that was scary.
Well, you brought up a good point during the in between innings that his follow through, he was low.
It was low. That thing was right. It was coming right at him. It just caught him. Thank goodness.
Want to know the count to Galvis? And a change up in there for a strike. It's 1-1.
Now watch this thing. Now he follows through with that low follow through of his, and here it comes right at his head.
He even went lower.
Well, he's starting to turtle. You know, you can't blame him. You have a ball come like that, you're going to turtle on it because you're trying to protect yourself.
He's been under control tonight, just as Fernandez has been under control. Phillies had only 2 hits against Fernandez the last time they faced him. And they have 1 tonight. The guy at the plate hasn't.
Yeah, they're getting the best from this guy. 2 real good defensive plays, and he was involved in one of them.
Well, he was really involved in both.
And both of them, right? When you get right down to it, covering first and the other one. When he tagged the bag, the other time was kind of routine covering first.
Oh, just looking at his numbers, I mean, the key tonight has been the fact he's been able to get, that curve over, but also his fastball over consistently.
Yeah, you shouldn't throw 2-2 breaking ball there. See if they can get if the Phillies can make him pay for that. Because now you get him into a fastball count. And Freddie's hit 2 balls on the nose, and one of those great plays was made on a ball he hit.
Well, he's only had 2 3-ball counts tonight, and it's his first 3-2 count. You see the comparison between this start and his last start against the Phillies, almost exactly the same. Outside ball 4. And there's the first walk of the night, and only the second base runner.
I don't get that. 2-2 breaking ball and a 3-2 changeup with his fastball. Talked about how good his curveball is, and he's getting it over, and that's great. But to throw it 2-2 with a 2-run lead in the heart of the order coming up, not good.
Well, now they're going to get the bullpen up behind him.
Well, Dunn hasn't been into a game yet, so he's due.
And he's starting to dig out the mound. Chad Qualls is going to throw too.
Kind of surprised they didn't have Dunn up to begin the inning, even though this kid's going so well. The 2 guys they really worry about are from the left side are coming up right now in a row, Utley and Howard.
Utley's 0 for 2. He struck out his first time up, grounded out his last time.
Amazing. He throws that and gets it over. Change up. I think Utley thought maybe it was a little low. It was a good pitch. Get this guy in the stretch and try and make him work a little bit.
Only the second time tonight.
He's been pitching out of the windup all night.
Now, the last time he was working out of the stretch, he struck out Utley and Howard.
Yeah, it didn't bother him. But most guys are going to be more effective out of the windup.
Will not get there. He tried, though. Remember, he made a play like that when we were up at Yankee Stadium a couple of years ago, where he dove onto the tarp.
Yeah, this one's about 5 rows in, though. He gives it a quick look. Going to dive, throw his glove out. Chase Utley just takes a peek back and he sees what the catcher did. Saw how he slid in. So that meant they were going to go inside. Now, he had called time and he saw that. Now, whether or not they go away from it, let's see. But he definitely slid inside. That was either a breaking ball or a throw over.
It was a breaking ball, and Utley is struck out for the second time. 7 strikeouts now for Fernandez, and here comes Ryan Howard.
What a curveball that was. It's a back foot curveball. Starts in the zone and disappears and chases it.
Howard has struck out twice tonight. He basically challenged him his last time up with fastballs. Now, whether he has the same fastball now, because we saw 2 to Utley and they were both 93.
Yeah, he struck him out twice tonight on high fastballs.
And last time it was 96 and 97, the last 2 pitches.
Overshift on him, but not all the way in the outfield with a runner at first.
Well, that was at 95. Now, whether he's in the strike zone with it or not because he's tiring is another thing. He's thrown just 75 pitches.
He's working on his shoulder turn right there, or keeping his shoulder closed because that pitch sailed on him. He can come back with off-speed stuff and fastball counts and dazzle you with it sometimes, as he did right there. Ryan Howard swinging fastball all the way, and he got a changeup. Fastball in, right down the middle. See, Oliva give one, and he wanted it in. He sets up inside, and now it goes right down the middle. Oh boy, was that one to hit. Just totally missed the spot.
Was a good eye. 2-2.
Still throwing 95, 96 miles per hour. Just wouldn't think he'd go off speed here to get to 3-2. But they both, the pitcher and the catcher, Oliva and Fernandez, they have great confidence in his off-speed stuff.
Breaking ball, swung on and missed. Back-to-back strikeouts. He has 8 in the game.
Did it again. Just what we thought that they might do, go breaking ball on him, and he did it. This is some show this young guy's putting on. You know, you come with a 2-2 curveball there. That's impressive. Guy's swinging fastball all the way.
Well, now it's Delmon Young, and Young is 0 for 2. Olivo's going to put some chalk on his finger now. I don't know if Fernandez can see what he's putting down.
Yeah, he's 20, and he's probably having trouble seeing.
With the eyes, yeah.
So you got to put the fingers all the way down. That's never good. Starting with a breaking ball, and he couldn't hold up, because sometimes you put the fingers all the way down like that, coaches can see it.
He said he was averaging 11 pitches per inning as the 7th inning got underway. Now he's the deepest pitch count wise that we've seen tonight. He has 16. This is number 17. It's a tough pitch.
Yeah, it's a strike too. You figure they're going to give him this inning. Maybe if Delmon Young were to get on, they'd probably go to Dunn for Brown.
And Delmon Young down on strikes. He threw him a breaking pitch, so he allows the leadoff walk, and then he strikes out the next 3. 9 strikeouts overall. We've completed 7. Back to work for the 8th when we come back.
figure he's out of the game now, but he has been unbelievable. 1 walk and 9 strikeouts. Outstanding fastball, real good curveball, good defensive plays. He's helped himself a lot. Look how he kept under control right there and then tagged the bag with his glove. That's a foul tip. Changeup that he threw there to Dominic Brown, a little comebacker. There's a breaking ball right there, and he struck out the side after a leadoff walk. That's some job.
Well, he's done 7 innings, 1 hit, 9 strikeouts. Juan Pierre pinch hit for him as we go to the top of the 8th.
Goes over and thanks his catcher too. That's something teammates appreciate.
Pierre, a .219 hitter, no homers, 3 runs batted in. He lines one to center field. Out there is Revere. There's one away. Well, as good as Fernandez has been tonight, you look at Hamels' last 3 innings. He retired the Marlins in order in the 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Cole Hamels been really good here tonight, but the other guy's just been outrageous, and he threw a couple home run balls. But he's in one of those things now, they don't score for him. Be able to give up 2 at home and still be looking at maybe even a lead.
Well, the good news is they'll be getting into the Marlins bullpen. Towering fly ball left field. And Dominic Brown toward the track makes the catch. 2 outs. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Nissan. Sign and drive today only during Nissan's Sign and Drive event. Shop at ChooseNissan.com. By WB Mason. You can't go wrong when you buy right. And by Honda. Visit your Honda dealer today for great deals. Only a Honda is a Honda. 2 outs, top of the 8th. Placido Polanco's 1 for 2. Curveball for strike 2. It's 0-2. Polanco, his average of .260. Came into the season with a lifetime batting average of .299. Dropped 2 points from the start of last year to the end of last season. Broke his bat out towards center. Chase Utley is there. Side is retired. Another quick inning for Cole Hamels. 1, 2, 3 go the Marlins. 2 minutes and 7 seconds, and Hamels is taking care of the fish. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Dominic Brown is due to lead it off as the Marlins will go to their bullpen. Of fans and subscribe today. Watch every out of market game live online on your favorite mobile and connected devices in HD quality with MLB.TV Premium. Visit MLB.TV today. MLB.TV, baseball everywhere. Rich Dubé shook Cole Hamels' hand in between innings, and then the conversation began and is continuing as we get set for the bottom of the 8th. It'll be Brown, Ruiz, and Revere, then the pitcher's spot. The Phillies bullpen is starting to work. Meanwhile, the Marlins bullpen is entering the game here in the bottom of the 8th. It's left-hander Mike Dunn in for the first time. Dunn 1-0, 1.98 ERA. He's had himself a good year so far. 13 strikeouts in 13 2/3. Dominic Brown walks up to the plate. Luis Felipe Almont throwing in the pen. All right, so the Phillies in Hamels' last 5 starts, counting this one. 5 runs last time. That was good. Nothing the time before. 3 the time before. And 4 or 1 run the time before that. Tonight, nothing.
How many they've scored when he's in the game, too?
That's a good point. Swing and a miss by Brown. 0-1 the count as we start the bottom of the 8th.
Close with Cishek, who's a right-handed pitcher, a sinker slider guy. So the Dunn's trying to get them to the guy they close with.
He's waiting all night for that foul ball.
This game's going too fast. I may not get one. I got one.
Swing and a miss, and there's one away here in the bottom of the 8th. 10 strikeouts tonight for Marlins pitching. Here's our Subway in-game box score. Now, neither team has really put together a whole lot of offense, but as we look at the Marlins box score, you see home run for Valaika, home run for Ozuna, and that's been it. It's 2-0 Marlins thanks to the pitching of Jose Fernandez and that little offense right there.
And the Phillies have a first-inning single from Freddie Galvis, and that's it.
And Galvis walked in the 7th, so 2 batters over the minimum. And Ruiz 0 for 2. Carlos takes a strike.
John Mayberry has come out to hit for Revere. Phillies off the bench tonight. 4 right-handed, 1 left-handed hitter in Nix.
Inside, 2-1.
Dunn's going to come out. Hitters with hard stuff. Fastball, slider. He challenges hitters. There's Kevin Franson with a bat. But Dunn doesn't throw much off-speed stuff. He throws everything pretty hard.
Hit hard towards second, but Valaika's been a vacuum out there. And to think he wasn't supposed to start tonight at second, he was supposed to play first. But he's made 3 very good plays out at second base today.
Yeah, that was a real good play from a right-handed hitter. Ball slicing away from him a little bit.
Tonight on Sports Night, clubhouse reaction from this ball game, plus results from the Kentucky Derby. Highlights from the Union's match with the Sounders. It was a 2-2 draw. But all the news Philly fans need to know on Chevy Malibu Sports Night. Tonight after Phillies post-game live right here on Comcast Sports Night. Well, John Mayberry will pinch hit. Ben Revere, Mayberry hitting .229 with a couple home runs, 6 RBIs. Young has come out on deck to pinch hit.
See a take situation now. You want to get the tying run up there.
Swing and a miss, 3-2. Boy, 96 from Dunn.
He goes hard. Always has. That's one of the things that's gotten him in trouble over the years, is he just challenges people. And, you know, they turn it around on him.
Going back out on his Diaz, out to the track. He's got a few steps to the wall, and he makes the catch, and the Phillies go down in order here in the 8th inning. 1, 2, 3 go the Phils in the bottom of the 8th. We head to the top of the 9th. Mike Dunn has done his job. Meanwhile, the Phillies will go to the bullpen for Philippe Almond. Baseball and softball camps for girls and boys ages 6 to 14. You get professional coaching and skill development from Phillies players, coaches, and Baseball Academy instructors. Call 610-520-3400 or go to philliescamps.com for more information. John Mayberry remains in the game and plays center field for the Phils as Philippe Almond on the pitch. He just delivered one right back to the backstop.
A little Ryan Duran. We'll go back a long way to remember Ryan Duran, but he was a hard-throwing pitcher, Yankees, Phillies, and that would be part of his routine, is he would just fire one off the screen. Wore some thick glasses. They didn't mean to do this, but you know what? If you're one of the hitters coming up and you see that, you go, ooh, that's making me a little bit uncomfortable. Like I said, some guys over the years have used that for effect. That one just got away.
Hit the wall and shot almost back to the mound.
That's a long, wild pitch.
Well, here's Justin Ruggiano to lead it off. It'll be Ruggiano, Diaz, and Ozuna. And Almond trying to keep this at a 2-run deficit. The Phils getting one more at bat. And in the bottom of the 9th, they'll do it against Cishek. Ruggiano tonight is 0 for 3. Curveball in there for a strike, 0-1. Another curveball and another strike. Two pretty good pitches right out of the chute.
We'll guard the line right now, not give up an extra base hit here with Freddie at third, Freddie Galvis at third. You see him over there. Just trying to keep it to 2 runs where you get the tying run up there with 1 base runner. Getting Bastardo ready too out there, or Horst. I mean, have another left-hander ready. I saw a left-hander up. You had Jeremy Horst just in case they need a lefty in this inning.
You saw a left-hander,
yeah,
and you saw the pants pulled up.
I did. I thought it was Bastardo. He doesn't usually do that, does he?
Not.
Why is he doing that?
Maybe change his luck. He doesn't like the way he's throwing right now. There's the 2-2 pitch coming from Amon. Fastball hit foul down the right field line.
That's what it was. The pant legs are up.
There's Cishek. Speaking of pant legs up.
Yeah. Is that becoming more popular all of a sudden?
We're going back to the old days.
Reds had a young kid pitching today, Cingrani, who's got a good arm.
Tony
Cingrani, and he had the pants hitched up. Rookie.
Chopper back towards shortstop. Rollins charges in time to get Ruggiano 1 out. Every time the Phillies retire the opposing team 1-2-3, Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports, giving you all your favorite sports all year long. So Amon has the first out. You know, there are a lot of high school kids, high school players, and teams that are going back to the sanitaries and stirrups. You know, they see it. You see some old photos, and they see the stripes on the stirrups. They kind of like that.
Yeah, we used to think that was one of the coolest things to do. Put a little you had cut it in the middle, and then you put a little piece of elastic underneath. Have your mom sew it together, and you could stretch it, pull them up, show a lot of white on the socks. Oh, we thought we were really cool.
Now that's the look. That's the look for most major leaguers now.
Yeah.
Swing and a miss, 1 ball and 1 strike.
George Hendrick may have started that.
Yeah, and then Derek Bell took it to a whole new level.
Yeah. Well, then all of a sudden the pajama pants came in.
I can't remember. There was a manager that I was around. I don't think it was Ken Maka, but there was a manager I was around who used to say, "It's like wearing khakis out there." 1-1 pitch. Another foul ball, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
It always looks different when a guy does it. Freddie Galvis has that look.
Jamie Moyer always had the look with the sanitaries and the stirrups, and had the Liberty Bell on the side of the stirrups. Curveball. Did he offer at it? Nope, says Jeff Kellogg, who will ump the plate tomorrow for the 2:35 start. Roy Halladay against Kevin Slowey in that ball game. The count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. And Ruiz hangs on. Strikeout for Omot. And now with 2 outs, Ozuna's coming up. He has 1 of the 2 home runs.
Breaking ball. You see Diaz doesn't want to swing and then pulls off it. I got it. No. I don't know if I should have swung or not. Too late.
Well, that's 15 in a row retired by Phil's pitching. Hamels had part of it. Now Amon has the first 2 in this inning.
Been a lot of whiffing going on here tonight.
(19 of 20) dating back to the 3rd. Only 1 hit since the 3rd for the Marlins. A curve inside and low. It's 1-0. Reminder that tomorrow Halladay and Slowey, as we mentioned, but a reminder the start time is 2:35 because of the Broad Street run.
Murphy's going to be out of breath tomorrow.
Didn't really take a whole lot of coaxing to get him to run.
Proud of him. He'll be sleeping on that flight tomorrow.
I told Sarge you should bike next to him.
Sarge. Did Murph agree? I know you guys were working him.
He said he would do it. He didn't know how far he would go. Murph, didn't you say you would do it?
Yeah, I said I would start running.
You didn't know if you'd finish running.
Yeah, I'd finish too, but I'd probably finish quickly.
Get down to City Hall and take a hike.
You know what you can do? You just pre-tape the Major League Notebook. We'll run it in the third, and then you can go back in like the fifth.
I might not make it to the second game in San Francisco.
There's ball 4. Ozuna's aboard. It's 2-out walk. And that'll bring Dobbs to the plate. And you wonder if they'll go to Horst. Charlie Manuel is wandering around in the dugout. Horst has been throwing.
Yep.
And here he comes up the stairs. So he's going to go to the lefty with the lefty Dobbs coming up to the plate. So 2 outs here at the top of the 9th inning. Phillies down by 2, trying to keep it at a 2-run deficit. And give the offense a chance in the bottom of the 9th inning. An AT&T call to the bullpen here at Citizens Bank Park. Jeremy Horst is coming in to relieve Philippe Almond. Irish Heritage Night here at the ballpark. Sunday the 19th is a 1:35 start. It's Wistar Institute Melanoma Awareness Day, presented by Independence Blue Cross and Citizens Bank. That afternoon, a free Phillies floppy hat to fans 14 and under. Check out the floppy hat. Go to Phillies.com. You can also purchase your tickets anytime, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
I think the Reds used to be a team that had to have their socks showing. They wore their black shoes all the time. And you go back and look at all those old pictures of those Reds teams, and
Team rules
had their team rule, I think.
Horst is 0-1 with an ERA of 6.17. And a throw over to first. Oh, Ozuna covered up. See what Dobbs has done tonight.
Play Greg the other way, especially with a left-handed pitcher out there. Give him the alley in right center field. Figure he's more likely to hit it to left or left center. And you see the overshift.
Carlos Ruiz off with the mask. Howard's coming down too, but Carlos is following it, and he makes the catch. The Horst retires the one batter he faced here in the 9th inning. On in relief of Philippe Almond. Now to the bottom of the 9th. One last chance for the Phils offense to make up some ground. The only offense tonight has been the 2 solo home runs by the Marlins. The first one by Marcell Ozuna, his first major league home run. That made it 1-0, much to the delight of his family and friends who have been here these last couple of days to watch him play. And then in the third inning, Chris Valaika in his first ever start here at Citizens Bank Park. He's had a great night offensively and defensively at second base. And those are our W.B. Mason deliveries of the game. Only 2 runs allowed by Cole Hamels, who was very good tonight, but the Phillies have not scored again for him. Jose Fernandez, the starter for the Marlins, was probably a tad better. And now as we go to the bottom of the 9th inning, you just saw the line score. Steve Cishek, who's the closer for the Marlins, will check into the ball game. Cishek in 12 games, 1-3, an earned run average that's kind of high for him. He has 3 saves and 4 opportunities. And he'll face Lance Nix, who will be a pinch hitter to start the inning. Nix leads the National League, leads Major League Baseball in pinch hits. Also leads with pinch RBIs. It'll be Lance Nix, Jimmy Rollins, Freddie Galvis. Jose Fernandez is wandering around the dugout because he knows the Marlins are 3 outs away from helping him pick up his first major league win. Last time he faced the Phillies, he went 6 innings, allowed 2 hits and no runs, but did not fare in the decision. Phillies won that or lost that game 2-1. So here we go, bottom of the 9th inning. First pitch inside, 1-0.
Cishek throws 92, 95 sinker. Throw a little slider up there, change up, but he's going to try and get his ground balls. They did a really good job for them last year.
Low, nope, not bad. A strike. It's 1-1.
Heath Bell blew out, just couldn't get the job done for the Marlins. This guy stepped in and was effective.
Phillies are 1-14 this year when trailing after 8.
What was that game? I guess that Kevin Franson got the double, right? With the bases loaded.
That was the win.
So it's been a while. That was in the first series.
Fouled away. And it's 2-2 to Lance Nix.
They can play conventional defense too with a 2-run lead. They don't have to sit on the line, nor do they have to play their outfielders all the way back, although their left fielder is really deep. See that? Matt Diaz is way out there.
That'll be over the Marlins dugout, and it remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. Out toward right field, Ozuna on the run, and he can't get there. It's a foul ball.
Well, he can cover some ground. He get a chance in the world to get to that thing. If it had stayed fair, he's going to catch it. Or he gone into a slide and had a heck of a chance to catch it. Here he comes. Yeah, his body's in fair territory. Watch where his body is. If that ball's a fair ball, he catches it.
Time he fights it off down the left field line.
Lance Nix has done such a good job this year. What do you have, a 9-10 pitch at bat in New York the other day before he got that hit to get a rally started.
Yeah, when Buck dropped the foul ball over toward the Phillies dugout.
Well, they didn't drop the foul ball right there in this at bat, but maybe that's an omen.
Phillies trying to get the tying run to the plate. You need a base runner to do that here at the bottom of the ninth. It's a 2-2 count.
Change up to go on the slider. Look out. That was supposed to be a back foot slider. Boy, did that go firing in there.
I don't think I've ever seen Dave Dittinger move that fast to get out of the way of that foul ball.
Well, his daddy Ray taught him well.
Dave, nice job, buddy. Way to move. Total concentration. You could have told Art the ball was coming, though. Art was looking the other way. Swing and a miss. He got him with a high fastball. Fernandez 2 outs away from picking up his first major league win. That was a 9-pitch at bat for Lance Nix.
Yeah, and they were hard pressed to throw something to finally get him out. They finally decided to go up with a fastball.
Don't forget, coming up as soon as this ball game comes to a close, Phillies Post Game Live presented by Cure Auto Insurance. Marshall Harris, Ben Davis are standing by, getting ready to go. Jimmy Rollins leads it off. Jimmy Rollins steps up. He's 0 for 3.
Tough going for the Marlins. They're trying to get into double figures and wins if they can pull this off tonight with their 10th win. The 9th win.
Not there yet, Wheels.
Gave him one more.
Hope that's not the case.
You told me that. I had 9 down there. Okay.
Did you give him a win last weekend against the Mets or something?
I'm trying to figure out what happened.
2-0 the count. Rollins looked like he was waiting for a strike. It's 2-1. Fernandez threw 7 scoreless, then Dunn threw a scoreless 8th. The 20-year-old right-hander, born in Cuba.
The way he was firing tonight, he wants to be out there right now. Let me finish it.
Threw 81 pitches last time in 4 innings. He threw 82 tonight in 7 innings.
A big difference.
3-1 pitch. Outside, ball 4, and the tying run is coming to the plate.
Good job by Jimmy Rollins to get on base.
Freddie Galvis just took a peek inside the dugout to see if the Phillies were going to pinch hit for him. He's going to bat with Rollins at first. Galvis is 1 for 2 with a walk. He has the only hit. And before Rollins reached on that walk, he was the only other base runner. Only 3 base runners tonight for the Phillies.
Polanco's going to cheat up at third, try and take the bunt away, and they're going to play double play death. It looks like, as you see there. Now they put the outfielders all the way back into that don't hit it over my head type outfield defense. See how deep they are.
Now Oliva's going to go out and talk to Cishek.
That's the way you have to beat this guy, is try and stay off the sinker and make him bring it up a little bit.
Seventeen pitches this inning. Two balls, 1 strike to count. And now it's 2-2. to go all the way back to 2010, August 30th, 2010. The last time the Phillies were one hit in a game. It was against the Dodgers. It was Hiroki Kuroda who combined with Hang-Chi Kuo, to one hit
out there. It was at Dodger Stadium.
2-2 the count to Galvis. He broke his bat and the ball spins foul up the third base line.
I think he was doing that to the Phillies a couple of years ago.
And Hamels got the hit.
Hamels got the only hit off.
And then the Phillies got more in the bullpen.
More later on.
That was the time when Kuroda was really lights out against the Phillies.
Well, they've given this guy a couple of tough at-bats in this inning. 3, actually. You figure Lance Nick's 9 pitches. Jimmy Rollins walks, and now Galvis is battling him.
On the inside corner, Galvis thought it was too tight. He must have run back. And there are 2 outs.
Going to run the sinker back.
It looked like it did run back.
That's a pretty good pitch.
Well, he's 0 for 3. 1 for 10 in this series. He has 25 home runs against the Marlins in his career. Ryan Howard is 39. Or I should say 36. So the first pitch is outside. It's 1-0.
Playing him deep in the outfield of the pull.
Phillies have taken the first 2 of this series. Tomorrow's the final game, 2:35 start. Trying to pull one out in their final at bat here. 2-0 the count.
See what he's doing. They're trying to stay away from him. They're in a pull defense, but they don't want to pitch to his pull side right now, where he may hit a home run and tie the game. So they're trying to make Utley beat him the other way if he hits the ball out of the ballpark.
Center field, Ruggiano is there. He's under it, and Jose Fernandez, the 20-year-old right-hander for the Miami Marlins, has picked up his first major league victory as the Marlins have shut out the Phillies 2-0. Home runs by Ozuna and Valaika are the only offense tonight as Fernandez outduels Cole Hamels for the victory here this evening. Well, they're young. There's no doubt about that. And Fernandez and Ozuna show that there could be some right paths for the Marlins down the road.
Well, this kid is a much heralded young pitcher. They didn't want to bring him up this early, but they really haven't had any choices with all the injuries they've had. He used his fastball, curveball, mixing some changeups tonight. A couple good defensive plays. He made a terrific play there, staying under control, putting his glove on the bag for an out. Got a strikeout on a high fastball, a little changeup there. The Dominic Brown hit back to him. Fastball in the mid-90s and a real good curveball. There's 2 strikeouts on curveballs and another breaking ball there. What an outstanding job he did tonight, and that young man deserves to be a Chevrolet Player of the Game.
First time since 2010 that the Phillies have been one hit in a ball game. Tonight the Marlins win it 2-0, despite the fact that Cole Hamels was terrific once again. We'll be back right after this.